Coming to you live from Georgia, it's the Matt L Podcast. Our next guest is Ashley Hazelet, who was on the show American Grit. Hi, Haze.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How have you been?
I'm fantastic.
What have
Thanks
you
for
been
having
up?
me.
Oh, thank you for your time and for agreeing to be interviewed. What have you been up to since you were on American Grit?
Mostly just working. I've done a couple OCRs. Season just ended for us. We just had the World Championship back in October in Canada. So right now we're in between seasons, but nothing too eventful has been going on.
And you said CRs?
OCRs, obstacle course racing.
Obstacle course racing.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, bring 'em. I'm always ready for questions.
How were you originally cast or found for the show for American Grit?
Man, you know what? It's so crazy, especially after like talking to everybody else in the show and figuring out like how they got there. So it was through social media on Instagram. There's a racing magazine that I follow. They're called Mud Run Guide, and they had posted just a little picture, and all it said was, "Are you tough enough?" And my best friend tagged me in the post, and she was like, "You're the toughest person I know. You should totally try out for this." So I was like, what's the harm? I filled out the application, attached a couple of photos and some videos to it, and then, sent it in, thought, I'll never hear from these people. Like, this is it. And the very next day, I got a phone call from their casting agency, and they were like, hey, we received your application, but there was a glitch in the system, and all we got was your photos, and the rest of your application was blank. And it was really odd because it had taken me like 2 hours to fill out the questionnaire. So they just asked right then and there. They were like, do you have a couple minutes to discuss, what the questions were? And so we took a few minutes, and then the next, like 2 days later, I'm sorry, this is going to happen. 2 days later, they asked to do a Skype interview, which I did, and then like a week later, they were like, okay, you've made the final cut. We're going to fly you out to LA I think there was like 45 people that they had picked for like the final process.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in LA for a week, and I called it hotel prison because you weren't allowed to leave your hotel room. You weren't allowed to talk to like anybody else there. You were escorted like to and from interviews. And then I flew back to Ohio and got the phone call on my way to, I think it was like my first race of the season. And they were like, congratulations.
Oh, wow.
And then that's basically it. But I was talking to a couple of the other cast members, and they were saying how they had been, I was one of like maybe 3 other people who actually submitted an application for the show, whereas everybody else had already been like contacted by the network, like, hey, we're interested in you. We want you to be part of the show. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know for other reality shows like Survivor, for example, it's called there's always a distinction, a difference between contestants who applied and were recruited. So that's what that makes me think
Yeah.
of.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I've never done reality anything before, so I thought that was interesting.
So you were credited as the daughter of a Marine on the show, and we got to see your dad on the show. Do you think, you mentioned that your best friend thought of you as the toughest person she knows. Do you think that you get your toughness from your dad?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad's a Marine. My brother's also a staff sergeant in the Army, and we just, we're tough kids. My dad didn't want any pussies as kids, and I remember distinctly him saying that growing up, and we weren't allowed to be babies, and we weren't allowed to be victims, and we were always just pushing through. If it was hard, it was supposed to be hard. Nothing was easy.
So Do you watch any other reality shows?
No. No,
No.
I didn't even watch anything before the show. And I
Mhm.
remember like one of the network producers was like, honey, you need to start watching reality TV if you're going to be on it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Well, I thought you were great on the show, and I never would have guessed that you've never watched any other reality shows before.
Oh goodness.
I thought you were great.
Thank you.
Um, so am I right in thinking that your team, Team Rourke, um, never won an evolution?
We never won an evolution. No, it's very unfortunate.
Why do you think your team had such a tough time in the evolutions?
Honestly, and I've had time to think about it and to look back, yeah, other than Goldie being on a team, me, Mario, and Mark were our individual athletes. And I think that we had all the right pieces.
Hmm.
We just didn't know how to put them together. Like there was a couple of evolutions where just we completely lacked communication. Like we weren't talking to each other. We were talking at each other. Um, everybody brought their own strengths to the table. Nobody was a weak link. And it was just, figuring out whose strengths needed to be utilized when. But I think, we all thought we were working as a team, but we were
Hmm.
working for ourselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and fact check this for me, but your team never won an evolution, but you and Goldie made it to the final circus.
That's correct. Yeah. Goldie and I were two of the last three females in the final circus.
And Mario made it to the finale.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I think that was, you're right. It was the finale.
Um, if you competed on another reality show, would you rather compete on another team-based reality show, or would you rather compete in an individual competition?
Um, Man, so there's a reality show out now that I would have loved to be a part of, and I think it's on the History Channel called Selection.
Hmm.
Um, I think nothing against being on a team, but I think I'd like to do like an individual challenge.
And
If I,
usually, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
uh, if I was on another show.
It seems like a lot of when you test yourself and when you challenge yourself, it seems like a lot of those endeavors are individual anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially with my sport, everybody helps each other out on the course, but it's you versus the course and everybody else. It's unless you sign up as a team, it's an individual thing. And I'm not trying to be better than anybody else per se. I'm trying to be the best, Ashley Hazlett that I can be. So everything is a competition within myself, and just the individual competitions make me push myself harder.
Nice. I want to ask you about your relationship with Cam.
Okay. We'll
I
go
think
there.
if anyone is going to watch this, and I'm sure people remember you from the show, but if anyone's going to watch this, and I'm sure what people remember you for is what people remember you and Cam for is your relationship on the show.
Mhm.
And because, as you said, you've never watched any other reality shows, even though there's a term for it on reality shows, showmance, what happened
Okay.
between, yeah, what happened between you and Cam, I'm guessing happened naturally because you didn't know that happened sometimes on reality shows, having not seen them before,
No,
right? Um,
absolutely. Yeah, go on.
no, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, yeah, no, it was definitely a natural progression. There wasn't any outside influence.
That's cool. At what point did you realize that you had a crush on or were interested in Cam?
Um, it was probably circus number 3 when he was up against the Machine, and Tony. And the thing with being in that house, you know, you're in there 24/7. You have no contact with the outside world. You have there's no social media. Unless you brought a book, you pretty much were just staring at a wall, or you're talking to everybody. And 3 days in, you pretty much learned somebody's entire life. So, you know, we got to know each other very quickly, and it was circus number 3 when he was doing the balance challenge, and I, you know, definitely didn't want Mark to go home, but I was like, oh, that would really suck if Cam went home. Like, I wouldn't have anybody to talk. Like, I'd have to find a new friend to talk to.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Goldie or someone saying when Cam was going across the balance beam in his first circus, the first circus he competed in, oh, look at him, he's so cute.
Yeah, he was a character.
So I guess I could ask you how it started, but you kind of answered that. Have you and Cam kept in touch?
We kept in touch for a while. We have since went our separate ways, but I think he's doing well.
So what happened in the circus before the finale when Cam, you know, when you were on the poles and Cam went down? What happened? Like, because it seemed like you were kind of strategizing against him. You were kind of like trying to divert his attention onto you. Like, what happened?
Well, you know, the wrench was thrown in the circus that the cadre wouldn't be there, and that one of our teammates was going to pick somebody to be on the platform with them to encourage them and coax them through. And it was just me and Mario as an option, and Cam was going to circus. Like, we all knew that Cam was going. So, you know, Goldie came up with the genius idea, and she was like, why don't you, you know, it'll work, it might not work, but why don't you be the one to be with me on the platform and see if that, you know, is a distraction, if that's any kind of advantage for us to send somebody else home.
And so you were 30 when you were on the show, and Cam was 21. So I guess all kinds of questions. Basically, I want to ask you about age difference in relationships in general. So I guess people of different ages can, you know, be attracted to each other and be interested in each other, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a line that needs to be drawn at a certain age, but yeah, people can be attracted to each other at different ages.
Do you think, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word these questions, but do you think that, like, it's different for like a 30-year-old woman with a 21-year-old young man? That would be different for like, that would probably be different from the other way around, like a 30-year-old man pursuing a 21-year-old young woman, right?
I mean, I guess it's just different because of the way society views it. Either way, it's not necessarily appropriate. I mean, Cam's very young. I'm almost a decade older than he is. I have a lot more life experience. Now, if it was where Cam was 31 and I was 40, then I think it'd be different and more acceptable because both of us would have, you know, much more life experience, and it wouldn't be such a situation where it's like I'm taking advantage of him. And I think that goes for like older men dating younger women. Like, they might be taking advantage, or, you know, just because at that age you really don't have a lot of life experience.
Well, my takeaway is I enjoyed your showmance with Cam. That's one of the reasons why I enjoyed watching American Grit the first season. And I know that you said on the show that you thought Cam was cute, and Cam thought you were cool, that you were different from the other women on the show and in the house where you guys stayed. So that's just, a few takeaway thoughts I had. It seemed like you were having fun with it, though, because you were the one who kind of pulled him into the kiss.
Okay, so I will say any kind of like PDA on the show might have been like requested or suggested
By a producer?
By maybe like, hey, like, could you kiss Cam, or could you guys be a little friendly or whatever? But like most of our conversations and most of our like hangouts and the closest we ever got was all off camera in the evenings. And I mean, nothing ever really happened during the show. It's just us getting to know each other. But that in-room kiss, I think that was planted. I can't remember that.
Good to know, because things that we the viewers see on TV, obviously it might not have gone that way, the way it was portrayed on the show.
Watching the show and being a part of it was two completely different things. Like, there were certain situations where I was like, that's absolutely not how that happened, or that conversation didn't happen then, but I mean, that's the magic of TV.
Okay, one more question about Cam. There was one little like segment of a scene in which you guys were in the bathroom together or something.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I don't remember seeing that, and like several people have told me about it, and I was like, I was never in the bathroom with Cam. But what is it? Is it like he walks in or something and I'm like, oh, are we friends now?
Yes, that's the scene.
Okay. I've had people tell me, they're like, oh my God, you guys took a shower together? And I'm like, what? No, I don't remember this. I don't remember seeing that on the show. If Cam ever came in the bathroom with me, it might have been to brush our teeth.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that because somebody else told me about that. They're like, I can't believe you took a shower with him. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't. Like, that's probably why my dad's mad at me. Like,
well, so. I could ask you about that, but the moment was so quick that I would think that a lot of viewers missed it.
Okay, good. I hope a lot of people did, because that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and we can't really see that it's you and Cam and what you're doing. The door's closed, so who knows?
That's so funny. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch. So I'll give you a little like behind the scenes. Maybe this came from. So there were 3 restrooms. 2 of them were inside and 1 of them was outside. And the bathrooms were like, I mean, they were basically just like a little bit higher standard porta potties. You had to like pump the shower to get it to go. So you comfortably couldn't take a shower by yourself. I don't know what you would do with another person in there.
Yeah.
And I went to the indoor shower and Cam had gone to the outdoor shower, but we went at the same time. And I remember hearing like a ridiculous commotion outside. And, so I took my shower and I get out, and as soon as I open the shower door, like all of the cameras are there, like every single camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what is going on? Like, hello, everybody. And they were like, oh, where's Cam? And so then later on, I was talking to Claire, and she said, the camera guys hadn't been paying attention, and they saw us like both take our shower caddies and go. And one guy was like, they just got the shower together. So they all like jumped up and like took off running. But I'm guessing that's what that's from.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, that never happened. That's so funny.
Okay, one more question about relationships on the show.
Okay.
Was there any attraction or interest between anyone else, any other 2 people on the show?
No. You know what? Cam and I think, were the only, other than Brooke, the 3 of us were the only 3 who were not in some kind of relationship.
Oh, okay.
So everybody else had a significant other back home, or a girlfriend, or a boyfriend. So just the 3 of us were the only ones who went into the show single.
Okay. I could ask you whether you were glad that you did the show when you were single, or I could move on.
No, I mean, I'm just glad I did the show. I mean, I think it would have been a different turn of events had I not been single. I don't think
Yeah.
would have invested any time in Cam at all.
Interesting. We're going all the way back to the beginning, the first episode. Were you surprised about the way the cadre picked their teams, going into the house and talking among themselves instead of doing a schoolyard pick?
Yeah. So I knew that they had gone inside and picked, but then they did come outside and they did kind of like schoolyard pick and like say why they were picking such and such a person. But honestly, I don't think I would have had the teams any other way. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to be on any other team. I loved Team Borg. They were great.
Well, the first time I watched the season, when it aired on TV, I didn't watch the first episode. So when I went back and rewatched the episodes and watched the first episode, I was surprised that they didn't do a schoolyard pick, but it sounds like they did. I was surprised that they didn't do it that way.
I think they just like for time they kind of like cut it out because it actually took quite a bit of time to get through everybody and put them on the teams. I mean, there's like so much. It takes 3 days to make one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like so much that they like cut out completely or didn't use.
How many days were you guys out there on location?
The 7 of us that made it to the finale.
Yeah.
There were 7 of us? Yeah. We were out there for a total of 6 weeks.
Okay. So maybe about 42 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
How cold does it usually get in Ohio in the winter?
So today it's 26 degrees.
Wow.
I would say the thing with like being in Washington is like it's a different kind of cold. Like here it's like a dry cold where like your bones are freezing, but there it's just like a wet cold, if that makes sense. Like it's just the cold's different. Like it might be the same temperature, but it just feels different.
So, do you think being from and living in Ohio prepared you for how cold it was in Washington?
No, I don't. I have great trails and I do get out in the winter time and I try to be as active as possible, but we were in the elements from like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and we were wet and we were cold and we were hungry and I don't think Claire and Mark the Lumberjack were probably the most prepared out of anybody for that show. The rest of us had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
Oh, that green team, that Team Noah,
they killed it.
They won. I think everyone else on the other teams would agree with me that they won too many times.
Way too many times.
Yeah.
Too many times.
It's a good thing they were likable.
They were great people. Yes, they are.
I wish I would have liked to have seen. I wish I had seen Team Rourke win an evolution.
Yeah, we would have loved to. We totally thought that we won evolution number 8 when we were like neck and neck with Tony getting the flag up. Like we thought we had that.
And not to go back to talking about Cam again, but you really were ticked off with him that that he didn't secure the house, the building.
Yeah.
He didn't make it more secure. I don't think I'm saying it right, but
no, he didn't fortify.
Yeah.
Bunker. Well, so we had like an hour, I think, and all the other teams used up to the last second. Like John Cena's counting down, like you have 10 seconds, and everybody's getting their stuff. And I think like it was like a few minutes before the end, and he was like, "Oh, I guess I'm done." And his bunker was right next to ours, so I can see everything he's doing. And in my head, I'm like, I hope I get your bunker because you like just gave up, and I'm I'm gonna get in there. But I think that was what made me mad. And then there was, you know, a couple things that happened off camera, and I was just like furious at everybody. And I was a big baby, but
I almost didn't get to see your dad.
I did. It was so. I mean, Tony's just such an incredible human being. And then that was the thing. It wasn't so much that like I wanted to see my dad, but it was like I wanted my dad to experience these people. Like, I don't know if you know, Jim is part of the SWAT team that caught the Boston bomber. I mean, David's a gold medal Olympian. Claire's an incredible human being, and it's like if I'm going to share this with anybody, I want to share it with my dad, and I just wanted him there for that, if that makes sense. It wasn't like, oh, I miss my daddy. It was like, oh my God, my dad needs to witness these people.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last question I ask you about Cam, but we didn't see your dad and Cam interact at all. Was it awkward?
They didn't interact at all? No, it wasn't awkward.
Or we didn't see them on the show interact.
Okay. They had like a weird, I mean, it got cut from the show, but like the producers had them like go have a conversation about, you know, Cam and I, and honestly, my dad was maybe there for 4 hours, and then he had to go back. But he interacted with everybody in the house. You know, it wasn't awkward at all. After the show, he's come to Ohio to visit, and he's met my family, and it wasn't weird.
Cam has.
Yeah.
How were you able to submerge yourself in the freezing cold ice water?
My God.
Submerge!
Man. So that was honestly the most mentally and physically challenging thing I've ever done in my life, hands down. And to be 100%, it was Rourke. You know, he was like my father figure there, and I didn't want to disappoint him. Mental mindset.
I didn't hear the last part of your answer.
Oh, I said it was Rourke. Like Rourke was what
Father
drove
figure.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to disappoint him.
And is that part of how you were able to not pass out, whereas Brooke passed out when she did it?
Well, so what they don't show you is some more behind the scenes. So like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. So, you know, K-Joy went first, you know, submerged her 10 burpees. Then Brooke went, submerged 10 burpees, and then it was my turn. So we were all supposed to submerge and then do our burpees together, and submerge and burpees together. But what was happening was my mindset, I was like in and out, like get in and get out of this water as fast as you can. Like the less time you spend in it, the quicker this will go. So if you'll notice, like when I walk up to the bucket, like I grab the railing, I jump in, and I immediately jump out. Whereas Brooke and K-Joy are like grabbing the railing, walking in like through the steps, planting their feet, submerging, coming up, stepping out, and then coming to the line. So for like the first few rounds, I'm standing at the burpee line waiting for them, and I'm freezing. It's like, it's miserable. So I have to wait for them to make it to the burpee line before we can all start doing our burpees together. Well, I think it was like round 4 or 5. I get out and I get to the line, and I'm like, screw it. And I look up at John Cena and I go 1, and I start counting down my own burpees. 2. I'm like, I'm 5 burpees ahead of them before they even get to the line. So what was happening was I was getting like 10 burpees ahead of them. So I was like 9 in when they were on 8, and John Cena was yelling submerge for me. And
submerge!
Yeah, submerge! I would go in, and then first Brooke was just getting disoriented. Like it was
Oh yeah.
so painful. Like you start losing dexterity, so you can't use your fingers, and then like every time I jumped back to do a burpee, it felt like somebody was taking a sledgehammer to my toes, and like every muscle in your body is just like extremely tense, and you can't see. Like when you would get in that water and you would come up, like it felt like your eyeballs were frozen. So you just had to like I'm just listening to Rourke to figure out where he is, and I'm listening to John Cena, tell me to submerge. So what was happening was like I was ahead, so I was submerging, and I think Brooke was getting confused on where to go next or where she was. So she like started to walk towards the buckets to jump, but she had like 5 more burpees left. And they were like, no, come back, you have more burpees. And I think she had just had it by then. So like when she turned around to go back and do her burpees, she just passed out.
Yeah. So we have to mention John Cena. After hosting American Grit the first season, I noticed that he was everywhere. He was all over TV.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Movies, TVs, commercials.
Oh yeah, let's see, he hosted SNL, Saturday Night Live. He co-hosted the Teen Choice Awards. Not to mention, I'm not going to ask you another question about him, but not to mention Cam again. I didn't watch the Teen Choice Awards, but I imagined in my mind that John Cena had said to the mostly teenagers who watched the Teen Choice Awards, we had this great 21-year-old young man on the first season of American Grit, and he surpassed all my expectations. I could imagine him saying something like that, and
Yeah.
it made me think of when Cam said that every circus needs a clown, and CAM, that's me. And I could imagine them playing that moment at the Teen Choice Awards.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome.
But I'm pretty sure that they ended up just John Cena dressed up as Hillary and someone else dressed up as Trump. So I think they went in that direction instead.
Gotcha.
But what did you think of John Cena as a host and as a person?
John Cena was great. He's such a genuine person. He's hilarious, actually. Like he's pretty funny, and I thought he was going to be like way more serious. And he was a great host too, and he was very like invested in us as the cast. Like were we warm? Were we hungry? Did we need anything? How could he make things better? So no, he was a great person, great host.
Yeah, it has come to my attention that something happened last night around midnight.
What?
Yeah. That it was last night at midnight. It was Reaper's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
He did joke around on the show.
Yeah, he was funny. And then like off camera, he was really funny and like scary. He was very intimidating
Yeah,
too.
I can imagine. So
Just huge.
yeah, like the scene when he and Team Noah were lifting weights.
Yeah.
And I know that like when I lift weights, I like lift up to like 20 pounds and I warm up to 15.
Yeah.
And then there was like John Cena was like lifting weights like maybe 100 pounds, and then Noah, he was like, because he only has one arm, he was like lifting weights with his one arm. He was like lifting kettlebells.
Yeah, Noah's a beast. Noah's beasting it out.
So what do you think season 2 of American Grit will be like?
Whew, man, I don't know. I hope it's more mental. And I hope that it's more, because I went in thinking that it was going to be like round the clock boot camp style living. Like I thought they were going to be like waking us up and throwing us outside and hosing us down with water. And there was a bell on the back porch of our house that we were in.
Yeah.
yeah, what was it? Base camp. And
Basically.
I was like, someone's going to break down in the house because it's going to be terrible and they're going to have to go out back and ring the bell. So I'm hoping that season 2 is a bit more mental than season 1 was.
And so, what do the season 2 cast members who get on the show? How should they prepare, and what should they prepare mentally?
I didn't hear that last part. How should they prepare and do what?
Mentally, like, what should they do to prepare, and how should they prepare mentally?
I I would suggest just be prepared to be uncomfortable and be prepared to go out in a body bag. Like that was my whole mindset. I'm not going to ring out because I miss home or I miss my family or I don't like this or it's too cold. Like, there were a couple of people on the show who were like, I miss my kids, I miss my family, I don't like this. And it's like,
Maria.
well, then why did you come here?
Yeah.
I didn't say names. I didn't say names.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of who the parents are. I know Jim has kids. What's the name of the guy who was the lumberjack?
Mark. He had a
Mark.
baby.
He and his girlfriend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, I mean,
trying to think.
family. That's the thing. Like we all have family. We all have friends. We all have jobs. We all have someplace we'd rather be. We're all uncomfortable. We're all cold. But it's like, who really wants it? Like, do you really want it?
Mhm.
You just have to go in there and just know that it's not going to feel good. It's going to suck. You have to embrace the suck and just, don't let your mind give out before your body does.
Yeah, like Goldie has 3 or 4 daughters, or 3 daughters and a niece.
She has 2 daughters and a niece.
2 daughters
Yes.
and a niece. Do you have anything you want to promote?
Just obstacle course racing. It's incredible. That's the only thing that gets me up in the morning anymore. It's the greatest.
Cool. It seems like you ran the circus more times than anyone else.
I think I did. Goldie? Mm-hmm.
Goldie, maybe Goldie too. Yeah, and it seemed like you always looked forward to running the circus, the obstacle course part of the circus.
Yes. I'm sorry. Hold on. I just lost you. Oh my God.
Let me just take this opportunity to, whoa, whoa, the American Grit theme song?
All right. Well, I guess this isn't working.
Submerge! I can see you. Like you pop in and out.
Sorry. I lost you in my headset. But what was the question about?
Oh, I just said that it seemed like you ran the obstacle course part of the circus the most often, more often than anyone, and it seemed like you always looked forward to running the obstacle course part of the circus.
I mean, I loved it. It was just interesting how they put it all together because it was, some people who have never done obstacle course racing before,
Cat number 2.
they were like intimidated by it, and it's that's something that I lack. Is like I don't put myself in other people's shoes. So like when people are like, "Oh my God, this is terrifying! Like this is so scary! This is so high," and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is kid stuff," or "This needs to be harder, to be longer." But I loved it, and it was actually it was pretty funny. Team Rourke, Team Nick, and Team T were the 3 teams that were there the most, and we actually like made up our own competition when we would go there, like who could get through it the fastest. So and we go back to the house and brag about it, like who's got the fastest time in the circus. So then when you showed up, you were, I don't know, it was weird. We were like excited to go, but we shouldn't have been.
Yeah. I just thought of another question that isn't on the list. Do you want to say anything about the girls of the Grit?
Oh, the girls of the Grit. You know what? It was I will just say that every female in that house was extremely incredible. Everybody brought a different strength. It's really great getting to know all of them, and it's great seeing where they've gone since the beginning of this journey.
Is there anything you want to say to our viewers in closing?
You know what? If you like American Grit, or if you are interested in pushing yourself, just don't make up excuses. You don't have to be on a reality TV show to get out there and challenge yourself. There's always something to do. So get off the couch and get outside.
Well, season 1 of American Grit, if you have Comcast, you can watch it on demand. I'm not sure, I'm saying this to our viewers, the people who are going to watch this. You probably already know all this, but if you have Comcast, you can watch season 1 of American Grit. I'm not sure how long the episodes are going to be on there. If you have Comcast as I do, or you can go to the Fox.com website. I'm sure you have full episodes up there. Haze, have you had any luck? Have you gone to the Fox website and watched any full episodes of American Grit on there?
You know what? I was actually watching them on Hulu.
Okay. Or you could watch them on Hulu.
Yeah.
Because I went to the Fox website and I had trouble watching them for free. I had trouble watching them full episodes.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can watch episodes of season 1 of American Grit on Hulu. Haze, thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed seeing you on American Grit. I'm glad that you were on the show, and I'm glad I enjoyed seeing your relationship, your showmance with Cam as well.
Thank you so much. Well, Mike, I appreciate you working with me and our schedules, and I'm sorry that it took so long, but I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your fans.
I just think that people are really busy these days, and I totally understand. Like, I'm probably busier than I should be sometimes myself.
Right.
All right, stick around if you want to chat some more, and I'll just close this interview out. As always, you guys who watch this, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Matt Leveley saying, submerge! Submerge!